今週末予定ある？
多分、阪神の試合を見ると思うよ。次も絶対勝つ。
そうかな。巨人が勝つかもしれないよ。
絶対ないよ。自信ある。一緒に見ない？
じゃあ見ようかな。Hello! You're listening to Learn Japanese Pod, the podcast that helps you to speak more naturally and fluently in Japanese. And I am joined by our wonderful Ami Sensei, who's going to be teaching us some useful phrases, grammar, and vocabulary. Ami Sensei,
はい、
元気ですか？
元気です。アレクさんは？
ちょっと風邪気味なので、ちょっと今日鼻声です。
ちょっと鼻声ですね。
ごめんなさい。でも今日、
okay.
頑張ります。I will do my best.
頑張りましょう。Yes, we shall.
So, Ami Sensei,
はい。
what are we going to be studying in today's podcast?
In this podcast, we'll be studying levels of certainty in Japanese. So, we'll be teaching you how to express the probability you think something will happen. In English, we do this all the time, right? With words such as definitely, probably, and might. And of course, you can do that in Japanese too. However, one feature of Japanese is that people tend to be less direct and use more tentative language. And that means there are a lot of ways to say you think something may or might happen. And in fact, there are so many, we won't be able to teach you them all in this podcast, but this will be a good introduction. As always, we'll give you example sentences as well as some dialogues to give you a good idea of how to say the phrases we teach you naturally in conversation. You'll also get the opportunity to listen to us, have an unscripted conversation to allow you to practice your Japanese listening and increase your vocabulary. So, let's dive into today's first example, which is the dialogue you heard at the beginning of the podcast. Have a listen again and see how much you can understand. Also, see if you can figure out the level of certainty each speaker is using. We'll break down the dialogue afterwards.
今週末予定ある？
多分、阪神の試合を見ると思うよ。次も絶対勝つ。
そうかな。巨人が勝つかもしれないよ。
絶対ないよ。自信ある。一緒に見ない？
じゃあ見ようかな。Okay, so the beginning of the conversation was pretty easy, right? What did I say?
今週末予定ある？ Pretty simple. 今週末 this weekend 予定 plans ある？ have. So, do you have any plans this weekend? 今週末予定ある？
That's a very useful phrase right off the bat there. That's great, yeah.
Yeah. Good conversation topic too. 多分阪神の試合を見ると思うよ。次も絶対勝つ。So, we got two sentences there. First one, 多分 probably. So there's one way of saying probably, or I think. 阪神. So in this context, 阪神 is actually sort of, it could be the name or the area of a Kansai area. But in this context, 阪神 is a name of a baseball team in Japan. No of 試合 is game or match, depending on how you call it. を見ると思うよ. So 見るとwatch 思うよ. I think. So I think I'll watch the Hanshin game.
And I should note here that it's Hanshin Tigers, which is the number one most popular baseball team in all of Kansai. And Kansai people are very proud of their team.
Yes, very
Very
proud.
proud.
Uh-huh. 次も絶対勝つ is the next sentence. 次 is next. も is also. 絶対 definitely. And then 勝つ is win. So, you know, we're saying we're going to win again for sure. We're definitely going to win again.
And that is the good old Kansai confidence there.
I guess so. And then Alex said, そうかな? And that could mean a lot of things, but it's saying, I wonder if that's so. Is kind of
it's
the
like,
meaning.
really?
Like, really?
Yeah.
Oh, like, I'm not sure. And then, 巨人が勝つかもしれないよ. So now, so maybe you guys know that word 巨人 from 進撃の巨人.
right.
Yeah. But in this context, it is the name, also a name of a baseball team. It is Giants, 巨人. And it's pronounced 巨人 in baseball. Whereas if it's just a term for a giant, it would be 巨人. So, you know, there's a slight difference in intonation or pitch there. 巨人が勝つ. So, 巨人 will win かもしれないよ. かもしれない means may. And then, you know, also it is followed by, or it is preceded by the verb. So, 勝つかもしれない may win. And then, よ emphasis. So, 巨人が勝つかもしれないよ. 巨人 may win. Like, hey, you know, who knows? Oh, I don't know. 巨人 might win this time. So that's kind of the meaning of that. And then the next sentence was 絶対ないよ. Like 絶対 is, again, means definitely, and then ない. So definitely not. 絶対ないよ. And the よ, of course, is again emphasis. 絶対ないよ. Definitely not. 自信ある. I'm confident. 自信 means confidence. ある. Have. So I have confidence or I am confident. 一緒に見ない. 一緒. Together. に見ない. 見ない is watch or see. And 一緒に見ない is do you want to watch together?
Yeah,
So-
this is an interesting grammatical construction because it literally says together, not watch. Or in other words, won't you watch this with me? 一緒に見ない?
Right.
So when you're asking someone out, maybe to, I don't know, anything, watch a movie or
Yeah.
go out for coffee, you can actually put the verb in the negative. So コーヒー飲まない?
Yeah.
映画見ない? I think we covered this in a previous podcast, but there you
Yeah.
go. 一緒に見ない? Don't you want to come? Or more naturally, why don't you come and watch it with me?
I think it's like one of, you know, I don't want to say few, but one of very sort of like tricky Japanese grammatical points there that exist. Yeah.
It can be a bit like if you're reading it in text
Yeah.
form, it might be more confusing. I think if you hear it in the conversation, it's maybe a little bit easy to understand because there is the intonation, right? 一緒に見ない? Yeah, don't you want to come and watch it with me? Something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And then last but not least, じゃあ見ようかな. So じゃあ is very useful and we hear it all the time. じゃあ is like, well then, or okay then. 見ようかな. 見よう is watch, and then かな is maybe, or I guess. Like maybe I'll, okay then, I guess, or maybe I'll watch it. じゃあ見ようかな.
It's I don't know what the percentage of confidence is, but it's a slightly non-committal agreement to do something. It's like, じゃあ見ようかな? Yeah, maybe I'll watch it. Something like that. Yeah. So
it's pretty like, I would say maybe like 70, 80%. So
there you go.
More towards yes, but
more towards yes. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So there you go. So if you were ever wondering, dear listener, about levels of certainty, that conversation gives you some examples. So as we heard, we had tabun, probably, maybe. We had zettai, which is absolutely or definitely. Then kana, which is like really, maybe. Kamoshiranai, may or maybe. Zettai, again, was absolutely. And then a verb with kana, mio, kana, maybe I'll watch it. So that's a really good model. So have a listen to that conversation a couple more times just to get your ears used to those phrases. But those are some really good phrases to demonstrate levels of certainty. And although in this conversation, of course, Ami Sensei, being from Kansai, is very confident in the ability of her team to win, Hanshin Tigers to win. So, Ami Sensei, that's a really great breakdown. Thanks for going through that dialogue.
You're welcome.
Could you perhaps maybe go over...
もしかして。
もしかすると? Could you go over some of the grammar that's related to today's phrases? Maybe give us a couple more examples.
Okay. So there are a lot of ways to express certainty in Japanese. And as I mentioned before, we probably can't cover them all. But I will give you guys a list of must-know phrases that will give you a good start to the topic.
頑張ってください.
頑張ります. So, as you heard in today's dialogue, to express absolute certainty, you can say 絶対 or add the particle に to say 絶対に. So, for example, 絶対に行く. I'm definitely going. Or 絶対に負けない. There's no way I'm going to lose. I'm definitely not losing. Or 絶対に合格するよ. I'll absolutely pass the test. Okay?
Ami Sensei, bit of a question.
はい。
So you can say 絶対に something.
Right.
But you can you also drop the ni particle as well?
Absolutely. If you want it really, really casual.
Right.
絶対行く.
Okay. So 絶対負けない。
そうそうそう。
絶対合格するよ. Okay, that's good to know. Cool.
So I would say, yeah, that's probably more natural. And you hear that more often. And there are a few other phrases for talking with absolute certainty, like something に違いない or something に決まってる. But 絶対に is probably the most commonly used phrase, depending on the situation. Okay? Everybody good so far? The next set of phrases is for saying that you think something might happen. Now, as I mentioned before, Japanese tend to talk more tentatively, so there are a lot of phrases. But here are a few phrases you might find useful. The first one is 多分. 多分. This means something like probably or might, depending on the context. So, for example, 多分行くと思う. I may go. 多分難しいよ. It might be difficult. 多分大丈夫だよ. It's probably okay. Again, depending on the context, 多分 can express anything from might to probably. The best thing to do is to learn from context and listening to lots of real-world examples to get a better idea of how to use it.
Yeah, I've talked to Japanese friends about this and said, what does 多分 mean in English? And they said probably. And then
Yeah.
another friend says, it means might. No, it means probably. Well, it might probably mean probably, maybe.
I'd say
okay.
like, I think,
Yeah, right,
I think,
right.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it doesn't, these words don't map exactly onto English. And I find that, like, as you said, Ami Sensei, I think just getting lots of exposure to the language and listening to these words in context will give you a better feel for how to use these words more naturally. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here's the next one. かもしれない. So this means might or could and is used to express a lower level of certainty. For example, 行くかもしれない. I might go. 大変かもしれない. It might be pretty tough. 明日雨が降るかもしれない. It might rain tomorrow. So I would say slightly less, level of certainty. And by the way, you can just shorten かもしれない to just かも. So for example, 行くかも instead of 行くかもしれない. 行くかも I might go, or 明日は雨かも It might rain tomorrow. Okay, and finally we have かな. This is added to the end of a sentence to express uncertainty or doubt. For example, もうダメかな? I wonder if this is no good. 彼は来るかな? I wonder if he might come. 今日は天気いいかな? I wonder if the weather is good today. Okay, another really useful phrase is どうかな? Which is used to mean something like, I'm not sure about that. So, for example, someone could say, 絶対大丈夫だよ. I'm sure it'll be fine. To which you could say, どうかな? I'm not sure about that. So by using these expressions, you can convey different levels of certainty in your Japanese conversations. It's important to pay attention to the context and tone of the conversation to determine which expression to use. And remember, each expression can be used in subtly different ways. But as long as you get lots of listening practice, you should be able to get used to how these phrases are used.
Well, Ami Sensei, thank you so much for that amazing explanation.
Yeah.
Domo, domo, domo.
Yeah.
And now it's time to maybe switch into Japanese so we can practice some of these words. And we'll have a little off-script conversation in Japanese. For our premium members, you can actually get access to the transcripts of this conversation if you want to study this in more depth. And for more information about that, just visit our main website at learnjapanesepod.com. So, Ami Sensei, I have a couple of questions I'm going to ask you in Japanese, and maybe you can reply any way you want, and
not use any of the terms that we said today.
Right. Just actually, this is a non-script conversation, so that's totally fine.
Okay.
But anyway, okay. Question number 1.
Okay.
普段週末は何をする？
普段週末はのんびりするかな？
僕も。
一緒だ。のんびりするか、もうなんか一日中どっか出かけるとか、なんか買い物行くとか、ハイキングって言ってもそんななんか大きな山とかじゃないけど、公園とか行ったりとかします。
いいね。
はい。
ということで、先週末は何をした？
先週末は何したかな？先週末は先週末買い物に行きました。
何を買った？
メガネ。メガネを買いに。
いいね。
新しいメガネ。
なるほどね。じゃあ、今週末予定ある？今
週末は、 そうだね。まだ今日は火曜日だから考えてなかったけど、今週末は、あれ、タックス。なんていうの
確定申告。
確定申告を
なるほどね。
絶対終わらす。
アメリカの確定申告が大変らしい。
実は、普通の会社に働いてたらそんなに大変じゃないけど、例えば私とかアレックさんとか、なんか、みたいに、例えばこのなんか、フリーランスとか、なんか、いろいろやってる人とかは、こう自分でね、自分のいろいろお金を管理とかをしなくちゃいけないからちょっと大変だけど、でももう何年もやってるから慣れた。
Hey Siri、確定申告やって。
Yeah, please.
いいな、そういうこと。
わかりませんとか
そういうことができればいいな。
できたらね。
じゃあ、今週末の天気はどう思う？
今週末の天気はどうかな。多分曇りだと思
う。曇り。
多分。
なるほど。
そっちは？
もしかすると晴れと花粉がめっちゃ飛んでる。
最悪だね。
最悪。今アレルギーがあるので大変。
こっちもじゃあそろそろかな。
そうだから今日はねちょっと鼻声でちょっと風邪ひいたみたいな感じだけど実はアレルギー。
よかったです。
もう早く4月になって。
風邪だったらね。
そう。
早く5月になって6月になって。
そうだね。
夏がいいな。
じゃあアミ先生一番大切な質問聞きますよ。
はい。
音楽を作曲すると思う？
今週末？頑張ります。
頑張って。
やろうかな？
やって。
やろうかな？
アミの次の曲を待ってますよ。
ありがとうございます。一応ちょこちょこ頑張ってます。
ちょこちょこ頑張ってください。
だから今年、頑張って、また、友達との共同の、EP、アルバムを出す予定です。
いいね。どんなジャンルは？
ジャンルは、エレクトロニック、ポップみたいな感じ。
じゃあ、それができたら教えてください。
もちろんです。
Great!
そんな感じで。Yes!
Well, thank you, Ami Sensei. That's great. Yeah, very good, very good. So, dear listener, that's it for this week. Don't forget that the premium members can get access to extra content that's not available on the free feed. As a premium member, you can get the following: an extra premium podcast each month.
What?
Yeah. It's true. A Japanese-only audio file that features Japanese phrases from the podcast you can use to improve your listening. What? Plus, you can get detailed PDF show notes with full transcriptions of the dialogues and the conversations, and also the content from the free and premium podcasts.
But wait, there's more.
We'll also throw in other extra content every now and then when we feel like it. So,
cool.
Please join our premium member area. All you need to do is just visit learnjapanesepod.com and click on the premium link at the top of the website.
Nice.
And as always, if you have any questions, send us an email at info@learnjapanesepod.com or find us on the Discord server. The link to that is on the top of the main website. And of course, thank you so much to all the people who have already joined the premium member area. We humbly bow in your direction. 本当にありがとうございます。Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
Your support will allow us to make more podcasts, and also we can support Ami Sensei's takoyaki addiction because she does tend to eat a lot of takoyaki, it's true.
Takoyaki addiction and takoyaki song that Alex and I are trying to make.
頑張りますよ。
頑張りましょう。
So, thank you so much, Ami Sensei.
いえいえ、こちらこそありがとうございました。
どうもどうも。That was so much fun.
どうもどうも。That was.
ね。
うん。
See you soon. またね。
またね。